Welcome to my channel. This is Bruce the Boss, and huge news as a judge strikes down the Biden Administration CDC policy on mask mandates for airline travel. By the way, again, welcome to my channel. If you're not yet subscribed, please go ahead and smash that subscription button. Your subscriptions go a long way with allowing me to put out new and more content, as well as beat the algorithm. And don't forget to like this video, comment on this video. All right, let's get into it. So yesterday, Monday, April the 18th, 2022. This is huge news for those fighting for freedom because it always should have been about choice. It never really made any sense, but this has been reported all over. But first, I saw it on CNN, so I'm going to use their reporting on this. So a federal judge in Florida struck down on Monday the Biden administration's mask mandate for airlines and other public transport methods, and a Biden administration official says the order is no longer in effect while this ruling is reviewed. The U.S. District Judge Kathryn Kimball Mizelle, if I'm pronouncing that right, said the mandate was unlawful because it exceeded the statutory authority of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and because its implementation violated administrative law. And I quote, "The agencies are reviewing the decision and assessing potential next step," the Biden administration official said Monday night. And I quote, "In the meantime, today's court decision means the CDC's public transportation masking order is not in effect at this time. Therefore, TSA will not enforce its security directives and emergency amendment requiring use on public transportation and transportation hubs at this time. CDC recommends that people continue to wear masks in indoor public transportation settings," end quote. I can't tell you how many times the Biden administration or this administration has been accused of exceeding and or violating laws, but feels though they can just get away with it so long as those laws and or directives remain unchallenged. This reminds me of the Tenant Act and or the law prohibiting landlords from collecting rent from their tenants. It was just weird to think that they can just get away with things like that, or think that they could, not to mention the vaccine mandates that were, again, luckily struck down in the courts, at least for the private sector, for those public employees under both OSHA as well as those public employees who work, or should I say private employees who working in the public sector or private sector who just so happen to be federal contractors like myself. And luckily was able to keep my job after that. But my heart goes out to those who work for and or receive money and or funding from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, for those healthcare workers as well as federal employees. I do like what the judge also added towards the end here. So she added that the mandate also did not fit with the section of the law that would allow for the detention of a traveler if he was, upon examination, found to be infected. And I quote, "The mask mandate complies with neither of those subsections," the judge said. "It applies to all travelers regardless of their origin or destination and makes no attempt to sort based on their health," end quote. Basically and I love that because I think it makes so much sense, and that it doesn't make sense to require masks and or detain individuals or keep them from being able to travel if they're healthy. It makes no attempt to distinguish between the healthy and those who are infected, especially considering for a good period of time it was required for you to test positive before traveling to various areas. Especially a lot of airlines did require a positive test to come back within the first couple of days of travel. What if you tested negative? What sense does it make for you to wear a mask? How can you transmit something that you don't have? And especially since those tests had to be done within just a couple of days of your travel, so it's not like weeks have passed and you become infectious. If it's only been, let's say, 2-3 days since you tested since you tested negative, even if you came across the virus by some miracle or dumb luck in the days after you took the test, you're not, by all accounts or studies, not infectious and are really able to spread for several days afterwards. And that's a big if. But again, this treats everyone the same. One of the reasons why I found it really silly to wear a mask if you're completely healthy, showing no signs of any symptoms. By all accounts and most studies, you're not contagious, even if you did have it and didn't know it. But again, likelihood you don't have it. And since when did we operate under the assumption that everyone is sick? And then they do report how quickly many airlines acted upon hearing the news, and they didn't waste any time. So as soon as the judge struck down the order, midday Monday, the following airlines were quick to act. So you have Delta Airlines, American Airlines, United Airlines, Southwest, Alaska Airlines, and JetBlue. Delta says that it's making the mask optional and warn travelers that they may experience inconsistent enforcement during the next 24 hours as the news is more broadly communicated. So just letting them know it's a continuing development, but as it stood at that point in time, it was going to be optional. Given the unexpected nature of this announcement, please be aware that customers, airlines, employees, and federal agency employees such as the TSA may be receiving this information at different times. So basically letting them know that people are being made aware of the changes at different points in time during the day. So you were going to have some TSA enforcing it at that time on Monday until they heard word otherwise, probably during a break or something like that. United Airlines said that in a statement that the masks are no longer required on United, on domestic flights, select international flights, dependent upon arrival countries' mask requirements, or the U.S. airports. Alaska Airlines similarly said face masks are now optional and asked for passengers to be considerate. American Airlines said face masks will no longer be required for our customers and team members at U.S. airports and on domestic flights. Alaska Airlines said some of the passengers who were banned from the airline during the duration of the mask policy will continue to be prohibited. That sucks. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense. It's no longer required. Why are you still banning them? Whatever. Southwest Airlines, meanwhile, said that on its website that employees and customers could choose whether or not they wanted to wear a mask, and we encourage individuals to make the best decision to support their personal well-being. And so just a nice little way of saying it's optional, whatever you want to do. JetBlue in a tweet Monday that the mask wearing will also be optional within the United States, no longer required. Customers and crew members may continue to wear masks in our terminals and on board our aircraft, the company tweeted. Big win for freedom, and a continually end to the tyranny that is the Biden administration and these countries and or governments that think that they can rule by fiat and or executive order without any rule of law and or any understanding of, really the science. What sense, again, did it make the mask to be healthy? And then to think about the abuse you were doing on children, especially since a lot of these mask mandates were, if I'm not mistaken, all of the mask mandates for travel applied to even 2-year-olds, 2 or 3-year-olds. What 2 or 3-year-old is going to want to wear a mask for several hours at a time? And then the idea that even if a family were to be compliant with it, if their kid, being a baby, starts removing it, they get kicked off, and or trying to force that thing on a baby is tantamount to child abuse. I'm sorry. But that's my video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Again, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you're not yet subscribed. Like this video, comment on this video. This is Bruce the Boss, and I'm out. Peace.